what about football coming to the Olympics? Like, are they going to just send our best players? Or are we going to see like we see in the NBA where NFL players are going to play football? Or is it going to be like the college players? Like, what do you guys think about football joining the Olympics in 4 years? Flag football, yes. And who is playing in these games? I'm sure it'll be male and female. But for the males, like, are we putting our NFL stars in there? Can you imagine that lineup?
Absolutely not. In 4 years, Justin Jefferson's going to be re-upping a contract. And he's like, oh, Joe Burrow and me, we want to go play, and Jamar Chase, we want to reassemble the LSU dynasty. That's, roughly $180 million on the field and a lot for the Bengals. There's no way that they're letting those guys go out there and risk an injury. It's not going to happen. They're not going to put an asset in an Olympic game that's costing that much money, because the NFL is completely different from the NBA in that aspect, where they like encourage these guys to go out there. Now, maybe if we get rolled a couple of times, they'll switch it up. But for right now, like the first time, it's just going to be those athletes. What's going on, Albert? How are you?
What are you thinking, Tony? Maybe it's some of like the backup guys, or are we throwing the UFL guys out there? Like,
I think you might get it, but there's really good flag football players out there. We just don't know who they are. There's actually I saw a promo, the flag football world championship is like this weekend or something.
Oh, I should probably tune into that.
We should tune in and find out how the Americans are doing, because I've heard that Canada is pretty good, and there's a couple other teams that are pretty good at flag football.
We can't lose. We cannot lose. They should just send one. They should just send Tyreek Hill. Like, okay, we're just going to do this.
Tyreek Hill is going to be how old, Mike?
34 or something.
But now, see, those guys.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, those guys that just retired or are on the verge of retiring and might want a chance to compete, let's not get it twisted. Terrell Owens is going to make a bid to be on that team. You know that he's going to be out there saying I want to play on the flag football team. He's going to campaign to try and be on that squad.
That's what I was about to say. What about the guys that are retired? And it's like, yeah, y'all don't need to play tackle football anymore anyways, but you still got the skill set to go out there. Like, here's some endorsements. Here's some sponsorships. Here's some TV time to build your brand even a little bit more and represent your country. Get out there, 35-year-old cheetah, and let's still dust these fools. I feel like at 45, he'll dust people.
Well, didn't Michael Vick just do it? Like, didn't they just have a league, like $1 million league or whatever it was?
Oh, yeah.
Had some teams that had ex-pros, some people that had like Joes, and Michael Vick was the leader of one of those teams. Like, you're going to tell me that Michael Vick can't go out there and still perform better than half these guys on half these quarterbacks? I'll take some of these guys. If it's a clean pocket where nobody's rushing, I don't know the rules, but maybe there's like a delayed blitz or something. You're going to tell me that Tom Brady can't be out there slinging it, Tony?
But I get it. He's a broadcaster. He can broadcast a game with a torn ACL. Joe Burrow has trouble staying healthy in the offseason. He can't go play on that team. As a Chargers fan, I don't want Herbert out there scrambling to the left and trying to make plays. And because that's the thing is competitors, and Mike even sent this to us in a video. They're playing a flag snatch game. CeeDee Lamb and Justin Herbert are playing with young people, and Herbert is just snatching the flag from these young kids. And then every time he's like, I'm sorry. It's like he's programmed inside of him. It doesn't matter what he's doing. He cannot lose. So if he's over there and he's in competing in high tense situations, preparing for this and then playing in games, that takes away from what we need our star players to be doing, which is sort of decelerating the amount of competition that they're in. Still need to be working out and training, and we're going to get those videos because everybody needs them for their social media brands. But they have to be in a mode at some point where they're kind of idling or in second or third gear training. They can't be over there competing for their country, all revved up, ready to go year round.
But this would be training. 4 years from now, the NFL would be nothing but flag football, right? Aren't we transitioning from a hard-hitting league to a flag football league right now? You can't even play defense in the National Football League right now without getting a flag called on you. So this is just a precursor to taking everybody to flag football. hey, we'll put it in the Olympics, and 2 years later, it's everywhere.
This was a theory I had, Joe. This was a theory I had. I made a conspiracy video almost immediately upon hearing the announcement of flag football. And I think they announced the hip drop tackle and officially flag football joining the Olympics in like the same week. Where it was like, hey, we're banning tackling around the legs, and we're also joining the Olympics with flag football to make this more global. I had that conspiracy too, Joe, where I was thinking like right away, like, oh, look at this. Perfectly. In 4 years, we're going to see tackle is football, and it's going to be entertaining. Trust me, because there's going to be high stakes on the line. There's going to be medals. You're going to be so, the way you back your NFL team, the entire country is going to be backing the USA team. There's going to be a lot on the line. It's going to get intense. It's going to be entertaining. And is it going to influence the league to start looking into it? Like, hey, what if we started to do this too?
Is there a world in which flag football can become super popular and be an NFL off-season sport that they play sort of in the spring and summer? Is that the alternate league instead of having like a USFL or whatever they're calling it now? Like instead of having that league be the secondary league, it could be a flag football situation in 20 years from now where my kids are excited about this and playing a fantasy football version for flag football. But the thing that we love about the NFL is the physical dominance that these guys are going through to get what they want done, right? When we get to watch human beings impose their will on somebody else, you don't get to see that in flag football. It can be speed and athleticism, but the actual physical dominance, like that's what we are attracted to, is like that sort of just running through 700 pounds of human being, right? Watching Dexter Lawrence take on a triple team, you can't get that in flag football. So that's how it's going to go.
Or Odell Beckham Jr. doing a nice, sick one-handed catch, but with flags instead of. I'm not advocating for flag football with you 100%, Tony. I'm just trying to think from the perspective of the league, and it just feels like we've been taking baby steps towards eliminating contact. I don't want it to happen. I think that the rules are good. I feel like that the hip drop tackle ban has already a step too far in trying to bring down the contact. So I agree with you, Tony. I would much rather watch tackle football.